Hey guys, what's up? You're watching R&B Reviews, and then today's episode is going to be on Harry Potter. I know it's been a while, it's been a crazy last couple of months, but we're going to get into talking about this Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, so Fantastic Beasts and Secrets of Dumbledore. It was one movie that I was really looking forward to. You know, it got pushed back, COVID, production, the Johnny Depp issue. So yeah, I was looking forward to it. I have a lot of thoughts, but we'll start with a good one. What did you think of it?
Honestly, like, I was watching the movie, I was sleeping through the movies. The major thing that shot out, I was sleeping through the movie because the movie was a little bit slow. But the major thing that shot out to me, like the first thing that came to mind was, like, a lot of the Harry Potter movies in the past, or at least from what I remember, is like you're going into this world and it just so happens to be like a magical world. Whereas when I was watching this movie, I felt like there was a lot of scenes where they were trying to like prove to me that they lived in a magical world. Like magic, like the times when they've used magic didn't seem as natural to me as like when I was watching like most movies or when you're watching like Doctor Strange. Mm-hmm. So that always kind of like stood out to me as how they try to like push the magical narrative. I know it sounds like it's a weird take, but I'm just so used to like everything being like so natural, and I just felt like it wasn't a natural thing among other takes.
So why would you say you fell asleep? Like, do you find it boring on certain parts, or? I
found like the narrative, or like it just was so long. Like everything just felt like it was like way too long. So like from when they were trying to have that like dinner, like the dinner theme, I know that's when I fell asleep. Or I think that's when I was like falling asleep, waking up, when they were having like that political debate and then finding out who's gonna be the next what was it like the next
leader of the Confederation of Wizards.
Yeah, like that's when around the time I was falling asleep, and like the planning and everything was just taking so long that it was just so boring. Like they're trying to talk through a lot of the things instead of actually like action through it, so I just couldn't like stay awake too long for that. How about you?
So for me, like, okay, so this is, we know it's a 5-part series, or that's what the plan was from the jump, right? So this is still movie number 3, but I thought they were really gonna show something based off of the previous 2 movies. The last movie, Crimes of Grindelwald, we ended off with Dumbledore having the blood curse pact in his hand, and thinking of ways to destroy it, so maybe he can lead up to the fight with him and Grindelwald.
Yeah.
So with that in place, I thought like this movie was gonna be a banger. You know, I was like, oh, this is gonna be lit. Now we get to finally see him. The Johnny Depp issue does hurt it, because at first it's like Johnny Depp's playing Grindelwald, and then he does an amazing job, and then he gets changed because of other outside issues. But where you're like, okay, whatever, let's see if we can move past that.
You know what's funny? I didn't even realize like they changed the character, because it was so long since the last movie. Yeah. Like, I came into the movie theater and I had no idea until you told me that they actually changed who that character was.
Yeah, it was like 3-4 years since the last movie, but like for me, as I was like, okay, I see Johnny Depp as Grindelwald, and he played his role, like everybody has their own like style, and he played it really well. So I'm like, okay, this one's gonna be like, I'm gonna notice it, but let me see if I can get past it. And it wasn't something I could get past. Even if that actor is a good actor, I wasn't able to get past it. So in that spot, it like irked me. And then the movie it seemed like it went through so many different points and like directions and stuff. They had the Bunty girl, Newt's what's it called? Assistant, and she played a bigger role in this one.
Oh yeah, and yeah.
Just like we didn't see Tina at all. Pretty
Is
much.
that a beef thing? So I remember someone bringing it up on Reddit.
Tina had, like, the actress had because of the shifting of the movies, it overlapped another movie, so her part got cut a little bit.
What role did she play in the other movies?
She like under Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah,
she was Newt's love interest. She was an Auror from America. Nah,
keep going, because I remember there was a narrative on why she wasn't.
So like she wasn't in the movie, so like it just seemed like it went a different direction in a lot of sorts. And that whole like Confederation of Wizards election, it seemed like it came out of the blue. None of us really like. I follow like other Harry Potter channels, and all, like nobody really knew where this came from, what they were electing. Like we always elect a Minister of Magic, and then I guess they have now a Confederation. Like it just came out of the blue, like, and it felt so easy for now Grindelwald's part of the election. It just played a major role without feeling like it was significant, or like it just came out of nowhere.
The elections, right? Yeah.
Like honestly, like as Harry Potter heads, like just didn't know where this came from. Like what?
You never heard of the elections ever before?
Not of the Confederation of Wizards. Like Just random, pretty much.
Was it in a different like location? Maybe it was like because they went to like Germany or something like that.
Yeah, no. The election took place in like China, the Himalayas.
Yeah.
But other than that, like the elections we just never heard of before. It wasn't something. The biggest elections are usually Minister of Magic, and of course there might be a governing body above that, but never heard of it before. So it just comes out of nowhere. He's accused of killing people and doing all this stuff, and then he gets what's called acquitted. Now he can just run for it, and it's like, oh, let him run. It just felt so stupid. Like all of the stuff was just dumb. Went through. There was a lot of good parts as well. Another thing I felt was like, so you know how in last movies, they were talking to Credence.
Yeah.
And they're like, Credence is a big part. He can kill Dumbledore. The fights didn't seem sick. He randomly gets a mirror that he can talk to Aberforth.
Yeah.
And then Aberforth ends up being his dad, and it's like, oh, that's how he's a Dumbledore. But it's such a weak point. Like, it just like...
You think it's a weak point, or it's weak how they like showed it to you?
I think it was just a weak point, like, because they said the same time that like Grindelwald and Dumbledore and them had that three-way beef and his sister died.
Yeah,
he actually had relations, and then the kid was sent out. It was just such a like a boring, like, you know how they have plot twists and then you're like, yo, that was the twist.
Yeah,
this twist is like,
it was like a terrible twist.
They're like, yeah, that's the
I
twist.
didn't.
It's a letdown, pretty much.
I feel like when I was watching it, like it didn't really. Yeah, like the way they set it up, it really didn't mean much to me. Like when they're like, oh, that's Dumbledore's like. Or not Dumbledore, or that's whatever person's son and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I thought maybe because I slept through the movie, so I missed other things. But like I thought that was like bad. Also, like a lot of people said that like they felt like this movie wasn't a Fantastic Beasts movie. Like they said, because Fantastic Beasts is supposed to focus, they felt like it was supposed to focus specifically on the Beast. They think that, okay, boom, like they should have separated the movie and had Dumbledore's story and then the Fantastic Beasts story, so you can separate some of the things so they're not forced to be pushed together. Do you feel like...
I don't really agree with that point. Like, I get it's just the name, but like that's not just the name.
And with all the characters too, that they feel like because you've bundled them together, now you have to include all the characters in with that name.
I don't know. I don't see it like that. I've always seen like because I knew about it prior. Harry Potter fans I would imagine they would be understanding of like the name being the name.
Yeah.
But the story was gonna be the 5-part story. It's going to be the Dumbledore showdown with Grindelwald. Like that was just gonna be because we've already heard it in the books.
Yeah.
And it was hinted in the movie, so like we already know about it. I think everybody that's saying that is more of like not a childish view, but like.
It wasn't really the name. They're saying that like you have Newt Scamander, like they think Newt Scamander's story like when in the universe should be like him focusing on like more of like the Fantastic Beasts side, which would free them up to what they can do with like the Dumbledore story, and then kind of like have that story without having certain like crutches or certain things necessary.
But Newt's story about him like doing like it would just be boring if it wasn't included. Dumbledore specifically chose Newt to carry out his mission. It's kind of like Harry Potter, where Dumbledore knew everything that was going to happen. Yeah. And he kind of set like Harry Potter up to do certain things. Like he in the first movie where Harry Potter has to go up against what's his name, Quirrell and Voldemort, and he sees the mirror. Like Dumbledore knows everything. He knew everything that was going on. He just kind of let Harry go along with it because eventually he's gonna have to train Harry to face Voldemort, and to his imagination it was so Harry dies. Yeah. So like Dumbledore's very much a planner, and he's like he could do all this stuff by himself, but he kind of takes a step back from power because of the death of his sister. But so I never really like put too much thought into Newt as being the main guy. He was always like just a pawn in a sense. Yeah. But yeah, the movie, like I talked with other people that are like really into Harry Potter. It just seemed to go into a lot of different directions, and it could have been good in a sense, but like so many like what's that the one black character, he was the half. You guys name too.
I don't think I remember anyone's name in that show. Hold on, let me see.
He was Lita Lestrange's brother. The name slips my mind, but honestly, his storyline just went like down the gutter too. He was sad that he lost his sister. Queenie's like story wasn't sick.
Yusuf Kama,
yeah, that's him. His storyline from movie 2 to 3 just went straight downhill.
I don't remember that character. I'll be 100% honest with you.
Everything just like they just had some weird points, and then like people were saying, then they were going to like nitpicking. Like you can nitpick a lot of things. You know when Bunsy goes and makes like replicas of Newt's case so they get fooled?
Oh yeah.
They're like, yo, why not just use magic?
Wait, magic how?
To duplicate it. Why'd you go waste 2 days to go get it done from a muggle? You could have just duplicated it.
That's a good point though.
Yeah, I don't know. It was so like, at the times it was a boring film, and I don't know, it's just a big letdown. And when you see like the numbers were really bad, and you could tell like why. Even
people are wondering if the franchise will even continue, like,
which sucks with some
of the movies.
These these are the reasons why I don't like sequels or prequels or continuing on from one like world. Like, just keep it as is.
Do you think that this has destroyed the Harry Potter legacy of movies that is irrecoverable?
Like the legacy of the movies, yes, because like the movies are known to like put up numbers. Like I'm pretty sure the top 20 or top 25 grossing films, like they're on them. The books, they're the number 1 series books, and they're on the top 10 for each book.
The books are fire.
So like, I think like this one does, like this is, I think they made a few $100 million, and like it's just a bad movie in production. I'm pretty sure you pay that much anyways, so it just sucks. And like if they don't continue it, that's even a bigger stain than just finishing it off, you know. But I don't know, man. Like it was just a big letdown in my opinion.
I feel like watching the movie, as an outsider, like as not a big Harry Potter fan person, I just feel like some of the stories kind of like, some of the arcs dragged on. Like when he was saving the one guy, I think it was his brother, from prison, and he had to like sneak into the prison and then save them. Yeah. I felt like that was such a long portion, or it just felt like so long of him just trying to save him. It was just like,
and it felt like there was like no payoff. Like what are we watching that for?
They ended up getting him out, right?
They got him out, and like, but it was like you could have just done it better,
in a better way, yeah.
In a sense.
Like there's just so many scenes I felt like they dragged on, like the dinner scene when they were sitting at like a dinner table, and then they had like all that interaction. I don't know, like there's so many just different scenes that I felt like it was like added in there to just have it in there, but it just didn't feel natural. It just wasn't entertaining. Like I wish it was like a regular Harry Potter movie where I could come back and be like, oh, that was new or that was interesting. One of the things too I feel like makes it harder is with a lot of Harry Potter movies, they add a lot in terms of like cinema. Like they add things that you've never seen before. It puts you on an adventure that's like brand new, and you're like, oh my god, like this is going on, like I haven't seen these in movies before. But
for
I feel like
Harry Potter,
like during the time when they had like the magic and stuff like that, like in cinematography, like it hasn't really been done the way that Harry Potter has done it, right? And
they did it in like 2001, 2003,
and it was special, and everything felt natural. I think now that we've had so many like magical quote unquote like TV shows and movies and stuff like that, like the cinematography had to kind of be like next layer for us to feel like get that magic feeling, because you watch Doctor Strange and you've seen people use magic, so some of the magic stuff that they do use doesn't seem exciting to us. Like it can never be as exciting now that we've seen it before. So like I feel like they try to lead with that, but they kind of have to dig deeper into the storyline.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like invested heavy into the story, so like things have to match, and they can't like make a mistake, a small mistake, because it could affect the world going forward. Yeah, you know, because we've already know what happens in the future. But a couple of like the high points, like Jacob Kowalski, that guy did a sick job. His character was funny as usual. He did from movie 1 to 2 to 3. He did a great job. Another person that I want to like, she was probably like the highlight of it, Eulalie Hicks. I don't know if I'm saying that.
Was that his girlfriend?
No, that was the black professor.
Oh, that first convinced him to join?
She was sick. Like, she was amazing. Like, I actually enjoyed her conversation. At first, I thought she was a teacher at Hogwarts. Yeah. So I was like, the accent doesn't make sense. But she was actually a teacher for the
American school?
The American school, yeah. So she was amazing. Like, her magic was like book influence. She was really cool, witty, and I like the actress too. So it was all really good.
Why are all the professors in the storylines like the ones who are actually like changing the world and stuff like that?
Oh,
Like if you think about it, like the professors and teachers play such a significant role in like the Hogwarts world. Like, is there more, like, what's their main purpose? Like, I guess,
give me
like,
some examples.
for example, like you have
Dumbledore.
like Dumbledore, the principal. You have Professor Snape. You have the magic of the dark arts. That
Defense
guy.
Against the dark arts,
But I guess he came in afterwards. Like they needed someone with his specialty to teach the class, so he came in afterwards. But like I feel like with Hogwarts, they treat like the professors in that school are almost like university professors if you really think about it. Because they actually like do stuff that impacts the outside world, right? That's how I look at it a little bit.
Well, I don't know too much about like university professors, but so in this like world, so they're also underground. Like they're not like out and about like humans would be. Like they're not muggles, so they're underground. They have a hidden school, and your lifestyle could either be like you could just be a regular wizard, on your day to day. You could be a dark wizard, go about like doing dark stuff. Or you can join the Ministry of Magic, which has different departments, research, this and that. Another top job is like an Auror. An Auror is a dark wizard catcher.
Yeah.
So you can do that. But if your skill level is so high, like, you'd probably, like, what's the point, right? Like, you'd only be after the money in a sense, but you're already such a high, like, Snape, he's a very high-level wizard. He doesn't need to do anything, but he was also an evil wizard. Yeah. So he kind of, like, played double agent, and it revolves around Dumbledore. The reason why Dumbledore is a school person, because he always wanted power. He was like the top wizard of his time. So
the highest power was at Hogwarts?
No, like it was like to compete, right? Like imagine going to like a prep school. Like he was at age like 11 when you go to school. He was already the best at everything, pretty much. He won every single award at Hogwarts. He might have even won the Triwizard Cup. Like he did everything that you could think of, and everybody said like he's set on the path of greatness. That's when he went to go get the Deathly Hallows with Grindelwald. Yeah. And then the issue happened with his sister, and somebody killed his sister, and he thinks his spell killed his sister. And then his thought process was, this only happened because I sought power. Yeah. Like power, like me going after power is what caused this. I can't ever do that again. So he's like, I can't ever do that again. So he will do anything that just requires less power. So he's like, you know what? Let me just teach, because they actually wanted him to be the Minister of Magic at a point, but he's like that. Oh. He's like, they kept asking him, and he's like, no, I can't do that because me with power is it's just bad for everybody. I don't think I can handle it. So he just went to Hogwarts. He became the headmaster. Yeah. So him in that position is why why things revolve around him. Yeah. He's so powerful. Now Voldemort comes through that school. It's the main school. It's the biggest school. So everybody's gonna go through that. Voldemort happens to come through. The only person that can stop him is Dumbledore. And now every story point goes towards the school. Yeah. And
that part makes sense.
Yeah. So in that sense, they're not like super big, but they do have several schools in different areas. That's why when they said like the election is going to be taken in the Himalayan mountains, that was amazing, because I was like, oh, we get to see some stuff. So then they showed us a little bit, but it wasn't sick. Like they could have shown us so much more of the Asian culture and wizards of that area hosting the event.
That's where the castle was. The castle was the one in Himalayas?
Where they took the election?
Where the final fight and everything was. Yeah, okay.
That's where it was. And like, if you're hosting an election in your home country, you're prominent. Everything goes through you, right? But it's still same like the Germans are doing everything. That's what I felt it looked like. And it just doesn't. The whole thing doesn't make sense. And like a lot of people said, it just went through different plot points. It was talking about this for too long, this for too long. Like, just give us a good story, build off of the last one, continue and grow for the next one. And it didn't seem like that's what the plan was.
There was a theory that we were talking about between Grindelwald and Dumbledore about, I think it was about if Grindelwald actually liked Dumbledore, or if Grindelwald always used Dumbledore. Like, expand on that.
So in my opinion, like we already know, like they have a love relationship. Like, so in the books, it's always hinted that Dumbledore grew to love Grindelwald, and
Yeah.
this is first time we actually hear it on like the movie that he did love him.
Yeah.
And it was like a partnership or like a couple type thing that loved, not like a friendship. And then Grindelwald, like, there's suspicion that he did love him. There's suspicion that he didn't. It's not really said specifically. I did notice that when Dumbledore said, "Yeah, I did love you," then Grindelwald never said anything back. He kind of just changed the topic a little bit or said something else. So who knows? Like, he could have. I know for the fact that he got expelled from his school. He was in Durmstrang in, I think it was Bulgaria or Romania. He got expelled.
And then came to Hogwarts?
No, he went to Godric's Hollow, which is where Dumbledore is from, his family.
Okay.
And then that's where they met. But Grindelwald's also a seer. So a seer is, he can see a little bit of the future.
Yeah.
Right? So he probably saw Dumbledore and then knows Dumbledore is a threat to him as being the top wizard.
Yeah.
So he's like, let me just get this guy on my side more so. And he's very like a manipulator. They said he has a silver tongue.
Yeah.
So he can coerce people. So he ended up building a relationship with Dumbledore. Notice Dumbledore did love him. This is all my theory. Notice Dumbledore loves him. And then he kind of played that to his advantage.
Yeah.
Now, if he grew to love him back, we don't know. Like, that's still speculation.
Some people feel like he did. And then I guess there's some people who feel like he didn't.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. I feel like he did.
From the movie's point of view and like the acting and what's said, between the lines, I would say yes, he did.
I feel like he did, and then he grew to I just feel like he puts his ambition over everything.
100%.
So then like that, like whether or not he liked him doesn't, like, it just didn't factor into what decision he was gonna follow through with.
Yeah, because he's always after power, and that was like his main goal, because he wanted the Deathly Hallows, he wants like high positions, and he knew Dumbledore's the only one that could stop him. That's why I think he knew like Dumbledore has this. If they were to go to battle, he would have the slight edge, and he would lose to Dumbledore.
He felt like Dumbledore would win it, and then that's why the blood pact was necessary.
Yeah, because he's like, now you can't make a move against me, so it doesn't really matter if you can beat me.
One thing about the blood pact that I didn't like was we had a scene where Dumbledore thought of doing something against Grindelwald, like even the thought of it, and it almost killed him just to think about doing something against him. But then he was able to plan this whole like master plan. Do you feel like they adjusted for that really well, or do you feel like no, that kind of like the plot point kind of like combusted when they had that like scene?
Like it's conflicting?
Yeah.
I think it's not conflicting. I did have that same thought, but I don't think it's conflicting because he never had the plan. He had the plan to show the people who Grindelwald actually was. Yeah. And like that he was lying, but he never wanted to attack him, kill him, or anything like that. The part where it gets very weak is he said you can't destroy the blood pact. Like there's no way. Yeah. And then at the end, he's like they all lock wands because he's trying to kill Aurelius. Aberforth comes in, and then Dumbledore comes in to protect. Yeah. And then they have this little meeting of the wand, which happens in other situations of Harry Potter. And they're like, how did that break, Dumbledore? We didn't think the blood pact could break. He's like, I didn't know. It just happened. I'm like, yo, come on. Like, that's such a weak...
So they never answered the question on how it broke?
He said, I guess, my feelings towards protection and his feelings towards like destruction caused it to break. Like it was such a sentimental random reason. Like it just didn't feel good. Like there wasn't like Harry Potter's known to have like depth into their answers and like certain scenarios. Yeah. And this just felt like, oh, it just happened like that. I was protecting for love and he was trying to kill, like, and it broke. It's like that doesn't even make sense like in the whole grand scheme of things. And I don't know, it just didn't feel good. And another part was like Dumbledore had this like different dimension he could fight in. Like it felt Doctor Strange-ish. You know when Doctor Strange goes into the different dimension to fight Spider-Man. Yeah. And the first villain of his movie. Mm-hmm. Dumbledore, when Aurelius goes to attack, the man switches into a different dimension where he doesn't attack like the humans around him, and they have this whole battle, and Dumbledore smokes him. He's using the Deluminator, and then they come back to the regular reality, and Aurelius is on the floor. Like that just seems so dumb. Like we've never seen this before. Like where is this coming from? And we've seen the Deluminator before.
I feel like they have to add new things in. I feel like just the way they added it, but I can't comment too much on that because I don't I don't remember that scene.
You have to if you add new things, it's not a bad thing, but this is also a prequel, so if you add things, you have to.
That's the issue with prequels, is that like it kind of limits you because you can only do so much. Even with video games, like Halo 2, I think was a prequel to Halo 1, or maybe Halo 3, but they would have new and better guns in Halo 2 than Halo 1. So then your mind goes to, why didn't they use those guns in Halo? Like the storyline wise, it just like wouldn't make sense.
You have to make it make sense for the story.
But like for the prequel, they could have went other routes or like other things to kind of like make things work. I'm trying to think of like,
if you add something, you have to give it a reason why we didn't see it in the Harry Potter ones. Like it has to be good reasons as well.
Or destroy. But it's always been hard because even with My Hero Academia and their like prequels, they'll like have something like a huge event, and then they'll be like, oh, but because of this immense situation, they forget everything that's going on, and they're going back to school having forgotten everything, or they're not able to do whatever they need to do. But like, I don't know, like I feel like the prequel wise, it is tough.
Yeah, I don't know. I was having so much like high hopes for this, but it kind of let me down.
But the other ones weren't bad.
The other two, yeah, which is weird because everybody hated the second one, and I liked the second one. I thought
people like really this one more. Some people said they like this one more than the second one on like the Harry Potter Reddit.
Bugging. If you like compare like the storyline, the level of progression, it just makes sense. Like for me, it's like a roller coaster that's going up, and like we're halfway, and it went straight downhill, and I'm like, how do you do that? Like.
I feel like they, if they do get another movie, they have one movie to like kind of make up. But I feel like if they miss on the next movie, then I think they're gonna scrap the whole franchise. Not the whole franchise, but they're gonna scrap the whole like Fantastic Beasts. Yeah.
Yeah, and which it sucks because you're also in my opinion, you're competing with Disney, the likes of Disney. Yeah. Because like the Star Wars, in my opinion, they have been watered down a lot because Disney wants the moneymaker. Yeah. But they also have been releasing really good shows, like. Their shows have been fire. Mandalorian, Boba Fett was alright, but like going forward, you can see like they have hitters for their
Star Wars
lineups. Yeah,
I feel like the Star Wars franchise wasn't that. I know people are gonna hate on it, but it wasn't that sick to begin with. So what happens is like they're like, you know what, we're gonna take this franchise that everyone knows and feels like they have to buy into, and then just milk it for everything they got. Like exactly what you said. And then like if something ends up being a hit, good. If something ends up being a miss, and then like they're just gonna like, once we're done milking it, we'll like move on to the next thing.
And a lot of like people will be like, oh no, like they're doing great, like everything I like so far. You might like it, but it's like, are you really being like biased, or are you being like neutral? Because even the author himself, he hated the last trilogy. It
was hard to watch. I watched like 1 or 1.5 of it, and I just stopped watching it.
Like theory wise, it did not make sense, and like it was just lame reasons, and like they would introduce like force healing, things like that, and we're just like, yo, what's going on? The writer actually nitpicked. He's like, look at these drones they're adding in. They're so shit. Like he was just upset at the whole thing. But that's what you get when you sell your franchise
to someone else.
Even the Harry,
and they're doing everything for money. But you're gonna say even the
Harry Potter one. Like they told J.K. Rowling, like she's like, I don't want to continue this stuff. I have stories for Harry Potter and going forward. She's like, but I just don't want to continue this stuff. They said, listen, we're gonna move without you. Just keep that in mind. Like, if you don't want to do this for us, we'll move without you. Then she finally said, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And then she wrote the screenplays.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's something behind that has a lot of depth with it. So it's just like going as you go. I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
I'm trying to think of like... I just can't even... I don't even have much to add.
What did you like from it? I gave what I liked. What did you like from it?
What I liked from the movie?
It seemed like you liked a lot.
No, there wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't like too much that I seen that I was like, oh, okay, like.
Did you like Eulalie Hicks, or however you pronounce it?
I liked when they were in Brooklyn. Like, I liked the scenery. Like, it actually like looked really nice. Like, it actually looked amazing when they were in Brooklyn.
Like, even the last ending where Dumbledore walks away, like that scene.
Yeah.
That's sick. Plus, we went to New York recently, so that was.
Yeah, I think that's what added it and like made it nice. And it was like in the 1940s. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I don't know. There's not much that I looked at the movie and I'm like, oh my god, like this was sick. Like that's what I can take away. Even it's been like a couple weeks since I've watched it, but like there's not much that I can say like I wanted to like take this away from the movie.
Another point was like it's another like negative point towards it. they're like, oh, where's Tina? Is she gonna join us on the trip? And like they were just basically telling us, no, Tina's not gonna be coming through because now she's the head of the Aurors of Makusa, and you're like, okay, they're like, oh, she's so busy now. But Newt's brother Theseus is the head of the Auror department in the Ministry of Magic in London, which is pretty much the same thing or more important. But he's coming. He's on the trip, chilling with his bro.
Maybe that was his like jurisdiction.
No, they were in Germany. They were like in crazy parts, doing crazy things.
It could be like the European one and then the US one.
Yeah, they fought in US and then they went back to, I don't know. It just felt.
I did read, and apparently she had COVID, and that's why she couldn't do like a lot of the scenes. COVID, like she caught COVID, and like she wasn't able to like do it. I wish I had more, but like I actually
have no good points.
I have like I'm really trying to think, and like there's nothing that I seen that of the movie that I was like oh my god, like it was good. But I don't have like a low rating for it, but like it just wasn't like there wasn't something that was good that like really stood out to me. But I feel like it's hard. Like the older I get, the harder it's gonna get for movies to actually like stand out to me and like be good.
Plus we are like, as we're getting older, like we're being more aware of what we're looking at.
Yeah.
And we're not like
just absorbing.
Yeah, we're not just like watching for entertainment.
Yeah.
And which is not the best thing to do, because watching for entertainment makes it more fun and more enjoyable. But now we're like deep diving into stuff, and it's like it makes it less fun.
So much less fun because you're like, you know, the plot lines, you try and piece together plot lines, where as a kid, like you don't piece together plot lines, but the plot line just comes to you.
Happens. You see it and then you're like, whoa, I didn't know that.
But then now your brain's like, oh, I've seen this, and I kind of know where this is gonna lead.
It's like competitive gaming, where a game is just fun, like Fortnite was just fun, and then they added the competitive aspect, and then it just went.
It just ruins it because you just try and do so much more things. I don't know. It just.
I honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't say this out loud, but I really wanted it to hit, so I could say it's better than certain things. But now, like, I can't say that. Like, and
that's
it hurts.
How I felt about the Drake album.
It hurts to say. I wanted it to be better than some Marvel stuff, which it is. I would still say, like, I didn't enjoy some of the Marvel TV shows as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But like this one was a big letdown. Like if this movie hit, like some of the Marvel stuff, it can't touch this stuff. But now it's like very competitive. If anything, Marvel is winning.
I feel like
Disney, like some of the Disney shows.
You would have to compare this to Marvel's second leg, and then see how that goes. Because like you can't compare it to Marvel's like first leg. I guess it would depend on what you're comparing. Like if you're TV shows, okay, yeah. But like movie wise, like if you're comparing it to Marvel's first leg, it's almost impossible because like
timing and all that.
I feel like the first leg is always gonna be amazing. Like Harry Potter's first leg, amazing. First leg being like the first like 6 or whatever, like the actual Harry Potter movies. Mm-hmm. Marvel's like first leg is always gonna be amazing because everything is like new. Like the ideas are just so new to us that like it's just crazy. Like now, like when there's a Marvel team up, like it will never be as sick as when there was like the first ever Avengers, Marvel team up, right? Mm-hmm. So like I feel like it's just like nostalgia wise, like it's just impossible. And
it's hard to compare them because they have so many different like characters, things going on. I was just basically only doing it on the premise of like what's coming out or what has recently come out.
Would you want, like, this is an aside, would you ever want a Harry Potter TV show? Like where they're in right like now, the Harry Potter school.
Before I would, but right now no, I wouldn't want it.
Like as like Hogwarts students, like on an everyday like school type thing.
They would have to put like Game of Thrones level money into it, and like JQ would have to heavily be invested in it because like they could ruin so much. Like they would show like one little spell and then everybody on YouTube be like, well, why didn't they use this when they were going up against Voldemort or this?
Would you want it to be like a Game of Thrones style TV show, or would you want it to be more of a like a date, kind of like
discovering
a look inside of like a Hogwarts student?
I wouldn't want to look inside.
It'd have to be like
I wanted to have
defined like story like a defined thing.
The story would have to be like heavily like thought out,
organized.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see like that's why I'm excited for the Harry Potter game, because I want to see like
the Harry Potter game will give us the inside of the
game, I think the Harry Potter game would be sick. Yeah. I'm actually, to be honest, like after watching the movie, I was like, yo, I just want to play the game. Like I need the game to come out, and then I feel like I'd be able to like deep dive into the game and then like be comfortable.
Even the little fights that they were having, like I felt like I saw better in the game trailer, like
than like this easily. Yeah.
So like even like Dumbledore versus Aurelius, it didn't seem anything other than power, right? It didn't see anything. Oh, he has so much power. He has the walls collapsing in and stuff like that. And it's like sick, but like where's the magic going on? You know.
Guess we'll have to wait.
Would you recommend the movie to anybody?
Nah.
No. I wouldn't.
I slept through it, so I'm biased.
I wouldn't recommend the movie to like if you're paying for it, which sucks because I always like to have the money
movie theater
numbers
experience?
go up. Yeah, but I would definitely recommend watching it if they're continuing the series. But nothing will compare or compete with the original.
I would watch the next movie. Like I would want to watch the next movie.
Yeah, because now it's like a lot of pressure on.
Yeah,
so I think they'll end up doing it, but man, sad.
All right.
What's your rating for it?
I hate rating stuff that I like slept through. I want to say 6 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Because I didn't really feel like it was a bad movie. I just feel like it wasn't like a really good movie. So I'd say 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10?
Yeah.
I'm in the same range. I'm like 5.7 to 6.3.
Yeah.
That range, like scenery wise, how it was shot, pretty cool.
Yeah, it was actually really nice. The scenery was nice.
Story wise, terrible. Like the pacing, weird. At times it did feel really boring. And like you won't like I love Harry Potter, so I don't really get bored easily. And then at times I was like, all right, well, can we?
I thought that was just me. When I've seen it like get boring, I thought that was just me.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know. And I didn't see anything sick. Like there wasn't something like Dumbledore fighting would be dope, but like I didn't even see that. And then the reasoning of everything just didn't make sense to me. So that's why I give it a 5.7 to a 6.3, anywhere in between. I watched it twice as well because after the first time I'm like, maybe I just didn't pay attention.
Oh my god!
So I was like, yo, I was hoping
paying for it twice is crazy.
I was hoping the other one I watched 3 times in theaters, the Crimes of Grindelwald, but I really loved that one.
That one was good.
That was I actually really liked it, and so this one I was like, maybe I'm just not watching it properly. So then I watched it the second time. I'm like, no, I'm definitely watching it properly. This movie sucked. I don't know. But maybe you guys can tell us in the comments, you know, what did you think of it? Did you go watch it in theaters? Was I right on some points? Did it not make sense, or am I wrong? I'm probably not wrong, but you can let me know what you think.
Oh my god, I'm not extra. I wish I had more to add, but like I just don't on the account.
That's what happens when you're sleeping through half.
Bro, I couldn't stay awake. Like I was trying my best to stay awake, and I was just like knocking out through the movie.
It was boring, so I'll give you that. I'm not even gonna be mad. I was like, normally I'd be mad. I'm like, yo, why this guy just disrespect the movie? But I can't even hate.
I'm sorry.
I can't even hate. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, right?
Yep. All right, let's we'll close out on this one, guys. We're gonna do the Doctor Strange movie next, so that should be coming out like a week after this one, if like at the latest. And yeah, we're out.